Welcome to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. New episodes now weekday mornings at 9 a.m. on thatbusinessnetwork.com. That's a change from 7 a.m. Now we're at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday at thatbusinessnetwork.com. Made available on demand on iTunes and on YouTube. Today's program, we're going to be focused on LinkedIn advertising and some social media advertising as well. I know a lot of us out there are struggling with those LinkedIn ads, as I know I am. It's a little bit of a complicated platform. So AJ Wilcox is with me today. He's the founder of B2Linked. Learn more at b2linkedin.com, and that's the letter B and the number 2, then linkedin.com for more information. AJ, welcome to the program today.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm excited to be here.
So first off, just give me the background on B2Linked and what your mission and vision is of this company.
Yeah, sure thing. So it's B2Linked. I had to keep the
Oh, you're right. B2Linked. I'm thinking LinkedIn as I'm talking. I apologize. B2Linked. Yes.
I had to keep it out just so LinkedIn can't take me to court.
Right. I apologize. I'm so used to saying LinkedIn, and you got me on that path. That's good. You got me thinking about LinkedIn.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was the whole point of it. So my story is I've been doing digital marketing for about the last 10 years, and here about 5 years ago, I stumbled onto LinkedIn advertising as a channel. And as I was having a lot of success, I would go and Google things like, hey, how do you have success on LinkedIn ads? How do you fix this problem with it? And there were no answers out there because no one cared about it. No one was out writing or talking about it. And I kept telling my wife while I was in this position 5 years ago, like, hey, I think that could be me. So fast forward about 2.5 years after that, I actually got walked to the HR office. I was being let go from this previous position. And I started thinking to myself, like, wow, what better chance than right now when I have no other prospects than to start my own company. So here about 2.5 years ago, I started B2Linked, and we're an ad agency where all we specialize in is just LinkedIn advertising.
And LinkedIn advertising is a formidable opponent. I'll give it that. I mean, I've went on Facebook, and even Facebook's a little tricky, I think, too. They can make these platforms a little bit easier for us business owners, but, it's tricky. I go on there, I can't figure out LinkedIn, and so fill us in a little bit on, the basics of LinkedIn advertising, who should use it, and why is it so complicated?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I hear you on the complicated part. Every single platform has its own learning curve, and LinkedIn especially has a learning curve because the cost per click initially is so high. It's so much higher than Facebook, and so any mistake that you make is compounded, and it becomes a really painful mistake. So I totally hear you there. I was one of the very few people, I think, who had a really good experience right out the gate, and that's why I love it so much.
Did you use LinkedIn for your own business or a product or something that you were marketing and then fell in love with LinkedIn advertising and made it a business, or how did you evolve?
I was using it at a previous company that was really a good fit for LinkedIn because they were only trying to show ads to specifically people who are business owners, basically the C level, the VP level of all different business lines. And so it really was perfect. There's no other platform that lets you get that kind of granular focus on just decision makers. So that's where I had success on it. And now I'm out finding all these other great use cases for it. So LinkedIn ads, here's how it works. So when you very first go in, you're going to have campaigns, and campaign is just another word for audience for you. And so you may say, I'm trying to target people who have finance job titles or are in accounting, or whatever your focus is. You're going to create the campaign that targets those people, and then underneath that campaign you can create ads that are shown only to people who fit that professional criteria. So that's the way it's outlined. And of course, being an ad platform, they have lots of little bells and whistles that you really only understand if you've been doing it for a long time. It does make it hard on business owners.
But you can't just set one up on your personal profile. You got to do like a business page or something on LinkedIn. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's new types of setups now on LinkedIn, right, for businesses?
Yes, you're absolutely right. So there are 3 different ad units that you can show on LinkedIn. 2 of them require nothing. Like, you can just show it on behalf of yourself. But one of them, and it is by far the most important ad unit, does require that you have a company page. And it's not hard to create a company page. It doesn't cost any money, but it does require that you set something up.
I even messed with creating a company page, and the company page derailed me. I said, I don't know what I'm doing. It's don't look right. I even quit that part.
Yeah, shoot me an email and let me know, and I'll totally help you get that set up.
But why is it, do we need company pages, or should we keep LinkedIn as just our individual professional profiles? What should we have out there then as business owners?
I think company pages are important for brands, just because it's another channel where you have a voice. And if you have a good Facebook page following, if you have a good Twitter following, I think it makes a lot of sense to cross move that traffic and build out another channel, because you're going to have different audiences there. If that's not so important to you, then I don't think it matters all that much. I would worry about building out a company page if you don't feel like you're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, because even when people direct me to their LinkedIn's, it's usually their personal LinkedIn pages. I don't see a high prevalence of company pages, and I think a lot of people probably don't even realize that that's an option out there. They just think it's a personal, professional profile. What are you seeing out there in the marketplace when you talk to them about professional profiles?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think professional profiles are crucial. I think everyone understands that in business that I speak to. That's generally why they get in touch with me to talk about LinkedIn ads, because they already have an affinity for the network, and now they want to know how to advertise on it. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Company pages, I like to joke that LinkedIn is the least social of all the social networks.
Right.
Company pages are kind of that way. There's a high propensity of people to take action when they follow you on Twitter or when they follow you on Facebook, or follow your page. On LinkedIn, you're right, company pages don't get a whole lot of love, and I think in the future that would change. So I would be keen to put at least a little bit of a focus on creating and growing your company page followers on LinkedIn. But as of right now, you're probably not going to get leads from it. You're going to be able to leverage that for your own personal profile.
What about cost versus Facebook advertising? A lot of people are gung-ho about Facebook advertising these days. You don't hear a lot of people talking about, I had great success with a LinkedIn ad. How does cost and also results compare across these two platforms?
Yeah, I love this question. So Facebook ads, I have found in business-to-business advertising, I'm generally going to pay somewhere between about 80 cents and $1.50 per click, and that's pretty good. And Facebook has some pretty solid targeting. So you can target by like job title, company name, company size, company industry, office type, like several of the types of filters that we get on LinkedIn that I use a lot. The problem with this is most people are not putting this professional information in their Facebook profile because it's viewed as personal and it's not about work. And so if you go into Facebook and you have a lot of success running these 80 cent to $1.50 clicks, and you say to yourself, okay, this is perfect, now I want to scale this up. When you turn that dial up and try to reach a wider audience, you're going to run out of people, and it's just not going to scale very much. So contrast that with LinkedIn, where the targeting that we have is incredible. You can target by job title, the department they work in, their level of seniority there, skills that they have, groups they're members of, their education level, company name, company size, company industry. I mean, all those types of targeting that are incredibly helpful for business to business. And it's at near infinite scale, which is incredible.
Now you're working with business owners on, LinkedIn advertising, Facebook advertising. I'm sure you get into the other, advertising platforms, if the customer requires it. Are you seeing a marketable difference between the different platforms and the industries that are involved? I mean, should a realtor be on Facebook? Should a realtor be on LinkedIn? Should the accountant be on LinkedIn or Facebook? Are you seeing that type of discernible difference?
What I have seen, okay, so what I'll cover first is, I think, who is a really good fit for LinkedIn. It's going to be if you have a large deal size. So what I put in that bucket is if you're getting deals that are worth at least $15K or more to you, whether that's a lifetime value or just a full deal size, then LinkedIn is a no-brainer for you. You can make it work on less, but I found the most success for those larger deal sizes. And the reason why is because if you're paying $6 to $8 a click on the front end, you need a larger deal size to make up for that on the back end. So that's probably who it's best for. Facebook and LinkedIn are really interesting if you compare the two, because you can reach the similar type of audiences between both platforms, and it's fun to compare. So here's what I found is, because the initial cost per click on Facebook is so much lower, your cost per initial lead is going to be much lower as well. So let's say on LinkedIn, if you're driving leads for $80 per lead, and on Facebook they're $20 a lead, I think a lot of people are going to look at both of those and go, wow, I should just do Facebook all day long. But what happens is, if you track it all the way through the funnel, a lot of B2B companies have this, where you start out at like a lead, and then it goes to a marketing qualified lead, or a sales accepted lead, and then a sales qualified lead, and then an opportunity. I mean, all these different stages. If you're tracking both platforms all the way through, inevitably what you're going to find out is, yeah, you paid $20 a lead for Facebook, but they graduate to that next stage at a much lower rate. And so by the time that you get to about that qualified lead status, where they're talking to the sales team, they're about ready to get some kind of proposal or something, at that point I find LinkedIn catching up, and so it actually does produce a better ROI than Facebook in a lot of cases. Now granted, that is where you have large deal sizes. If you're under, let's say if you're under about 10K deal sizes or lifetime values, I would just stick to Facebook. I probably wouldn't even test LinkedIn.
How soon before somebody begins to see results if they begin a LinkedIn advertising campaign?
Pretty much the same as you would for any other advertising, especially social ads. Usually within the first, I would say, I don't know, $500, $700 in spend, you'll see leads coming in, and you'll know about what your cost per lead is going to be. Obviously, what your business cycles look like. If you have a long business, what am I trying to say here? A long time to close, you have to nurture your deals a little bit longer. You're going to have to advertise that long to watch your initial deals come through. But yeah, LinkedIn is usually a really, really high quality lead, because when people are on LinkedIn, they're either thinking about their job or their career, and you're giving them an offer that augments one of those two things, and it's generally going to be a lot more successful than showing that same offer to someone on Facebook who is trying to play Farmville.
Currently talking to AJ Wilcox. He's the founder of B2Linked, and learn more at that website, B2Linked.com. That's the letter B and the number 2, B2Linked.com. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk to him about why he prefers advertising on the social media outlets, Facebook and LinkedIn, over Google, which we hear so much about. So we'll talk about that when we come back from the break. On That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products: hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Welcome back to That Business Show 2.0. I'm your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Each weekday morning now at 9 a.m., moved out of the 7 a.m. spot. We're 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. weekday mornings at thatbusinessnetwork.com. We'd love to hear your story, too, as we talk with many different business owners and professionals each weekday morning on the program. And you can learn more at tbsinterview.com on how to come onto the program. It's tbsinterview.com. So today we're talking about advertising, specifically social media on LinkedIn and Facebook with AJ Wilcox, founder of B2Linked, where they specialize in helping you get your business in front of people on LinkedIn on the very difficult platform LinkedIn ads, which he is an expert in. So reach out to them, B2Linked.com. So AJ, you're real gung-ho on social media advertising on Facebook and on LinkedIn, not so much on Google. Why not?
Yeah, so I started out using a lot of Google Ads, and there are some great things about each different type of advertising. So I'll refer to Google AdWords and Bing ads as being called search ads, and I'll reference LinkedIn and Facebook as being social, and even a little bit of Twitter. So what happens is, I think my favorite lead qualification model out there is called the BANT, B-A-N-T, and it stands for budget, authority, need, and timing. And it's a way of looking at a lead that may score really high in certain criteria that might make it a better lead and low in others. And so sales teams can start to filter out their leads and understand who's worth reaching out to. Well, for instance, if I'm driving traffic from Google AdWords or Bing ads, I'm inevitably going to generate leads that score really high on the N and the T, in the need and the timing, because someone is actively searching for something, and when they're actively searching for it, you're giving it to them. That means they're ready. They have a need. The timing's right. So those are going to score really high there. The problem is if you send leads solely from Google, you're going to get some feedback from the sales team that says things like, hey, all these leads are hot, but we're talking to mom and pops here. They're not really good leads for us. Can you qualify these folks a little bit more, and can you give us leads that are more the decision makers? And so then you start talking social advertising, where you can zoom in by factors that influence their budget and their authority. So the B and the A in BANT. The budget, can they afford what you're selling? Are they in a level of seniority that allows them to have that kind of budget in their line items for you? And then the authority, is this the person who's actually going to be making the decision? And when you target people who have the budget and the authority, then the leads that come over to the sales team are going to be appreciated a lot more.
Is it a matter of that, Google is just more prevalent out there and people are just associate that more, and so they naturally go to Google before they'll go to a Facebook ad or a LinkedIn ad?
Yeah, I think Google advertising is synonymous with internet advertising. That was the big, literally was the only thing that people thought of when they thought of internet advertising was, I'll go to Google. They're the 8,000-pound gorilla in the space, and they're still growing at 20% every year. So they've done an incredible job with their ad platform. But Facebook is definitely gaining ground quickly, and people are understanding the value of having both a search and a social type of blend.
When you're doing, internet advertising, it's always, getting on, page one of Google, or paying for the ad for that keyword to get you at the top of the page. What should, a small business owner focus on? Getting on page one of Google, or running an ad on Facebook, or running an ad on LinkedIn, or is it really specific to what they're looking to accomplish?
There are some different things to keep in mind here, I think, for business owners. You have search engine optimization, which it's going to take you a lot of work to get to the top of Google. Let's say that for one keyword, you want to be ranked number one. That's going to take a lot of work, probably a lot of money. But what happens is once you get there, all the clicks that you get and the leads that you get are going to be free. And so a lot of companies go, wow, search engine optimization, that sounds like exactly what we need. And that really could be a good bet. With social advertising, and I'll say Google Ads is just kind of a quick way of shortcutting getting to the top of the page. But when it's SEO, that value stays. I mean, you're not paying to be there, and you'll probably be number one for a little while unless you screw up. With Google AdWords, you're paying for that position, and as soon as you stop paying, you kind of disappear. So it's very transactional. I've found this to work really well for people who are in industries that have, I would say, a commodity. People know what they're looking for. But I also have a lot of clients who come to me and they say, hey, there aren't any keywords out there that people are actively searching for what we do because we're new, because we're a disruptive technology. They don't know that we exist yet. And so social advertising becomes really good for that, because you can say, hey, look, here is this product or service that you never knew existed, and we're showing it to you based off of who you are. You like outdoors, so we're showing you this new climbing gear. You are in HR, so we're showing you this HR software. And so it's a different blend, I think, based off of what kind of product or service.
So Google, it's more about keyword advertising. LinkedIn and Facebook is about targeted advertising. So it's kind of differentiates between what you're doing and everything. And I myself, I kind of get curious about SEO and doing some research and how to get my pages to display a little bit better. And even when you get where you want to be, though, you're at the mercy of the algorithm. If they change the algorithm, all that work might be for nothing, right?
Absolutely. And it's really scary in SEO right now. Especially, I actually called myself an SEO guy back, 6-7 years ago. I started out there, and I think it was back in 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. Google had an algorithm update that came out that basically said, if you're doing anything to gain links that we don't like, that we see as spammy, we're going to penalize you for that. And then you had all these small businesses, especially, who are paying an SEO guy to do stuff that they didn't understand. And wow. The SEO guy's out building things that are considered low quality by Google. And then all of a sudden, the business owner loses all traffic because they get penalized. And the SEO was like, oh, I guess that means I'm fired. Okay, we'll see you. Good luck.
And does Google even put out there the changes in the algorithms, or do they just happen behind the scenes and developers just kind of have to study and learn what changed?
Yeah, it's a big shock. What they do is they'll release, they won't tell you what they changed, but overnight a big change will roll out. A whole bunch of people will lose rankings where they had them before, and business owners will go, wow, on Mondays we usually get 30 leads coming in and we got 0 on Monday. What happened? And you look and go, oh wow, we're not anywhere on that first page anymore. Yeah. And that's usually what happens. And then everyone goes into jump on the message boards, find out what happened. Oh, this happened to other people too. And then the SEO community will explore a little bit.
And then when you learn the changes and make the changes, it takes time to make an effect. I mean, typically an SEO plan takes a couple of months to even begin to see results. Am I not correct?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I would tell people, expect to pay for SEO for 2 to 6 months before you even see that it's working. And how do you differentiate that from snake oil when you're paying money and you're not seeing results yet? SEO is a hard game.
Yeah, and I was doing just a little reading this past week, and because I'm designing a new page or pages, and just the SEO inside my website, the keywords box. I was reading something that Google doesn't pay much attention to the keywords anymore inside the boxes. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, they call that the the meta keywords tag on a page. They used to pay attention to that, and then people were just spamming it. They would stick keywords in there like Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift, and
I never understood that. I thought, it's like they can't control that, so people are going to put tags that don't make sense to their page and stuff. I always wonder. So really, I've been leaving that box blank in the pages I built. I'm like, well, they're not using it, then I'm not going to waste my time putting that stuff in there. So that is true, though. The keywords are not that important, or not. They are apparently to Bing. I read a little bit to some degree, but to Google, they don't care anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't even worry about it. The place that makes the most sense to put a keyword in is your title tag, right. And that is by far the most important part. That is basically the label put on each page, and that's what shows up in Google search when you're searching for keywords.
Yeah. So your domain itself is your biggest thing, and then what you put in that title tag, and I guess the header or whatever. But everything else is all those keywords are for done. And I see the keywords going away more and more. I was reading like iTunes doesn't even pay attention to the keywords anymore, and on the podcasts and stuff. So, and I thought about that. It's like anybody can put anything in there. So why are search engines using these keywords?
Yeah, I'm sure there are some search engines who still use them, but even if they are taking them into account, they're going to be a very small part of what they care about. So your title tags are going to be the most important. Also, links coming to your website are going to be still very, very important. Now you just have to make sure that they're good links, that they don't look spammy.
Right, and also the importance of utilizing the Google Webmasters. I go in there and set that up. Do the other search engines have something like that too? Does Bing have a Webmasters tool? Does Yahoo have that? Should we be doing those in all the different search engines? Even though I know Google is most important.
It's definitely, I think Google is the most important if you're looking at it by search share. So if you imagine if you're getting 100 visits a day and 70 of those come from Google and 10 of those come from Bing, you're going to say, okay, my time is best spent paying attention to Google. But it is very valuable to have Webmaster accounts. They call it Search Console. Set up for Google and have the Bing Webmaster one set up as well. That way, if search engines have an issue with you, they can contact you, they can show you that message. So it is really valuable to have those, even if you're not spending a whole lot of time in them.
A couple of minutes left. What do you think about Twitter advertising? Any worth in putting stuff out on Twitter?
Yeah, I think Twitter is really interesting. Most of what I do is business to business. So Twitter is interesting in two different ways. The first is being able to target people at events. So if you go to an event, usually that event is going to have a hashtag, and people are having a conversation around that hashtag while they're at the event. So for instance, if there is a developer conference and you know anyone who's using the hashtag, I don't know, developer stream or whatever, anyone who used that is at that event, and that event is centric around your product, I think it makes a lot of sense to say, let's show ads to people who use that hashtag. And you can make sure that everyone that you're targeting is a developer, for instance, in this example. The other way that it's really valuable, I think, is if your industry has an evangelist, someone who everyone follows to get that advice. So, I don't know. I know you had John Pollock on the show a few episodes ago. By the way, I love that episode.
Thank you.
When people are following him, they're probably interested in financial advice. And so if you're trying to sell a financial product, targeting the followers of him could be a really good way to reach them. So Twitter ads, interesting in that way. They're getting crapped on a lot in the media right now, and there aren't a whole lot of people who are having success with their ads platform. In B2C and in media, it still works great.
Yeah, no, that's why I asked that and stuff. You don't hear too much about Twitter. You just hear negative things about their ads platform. So, well, good discussion. AJ Wilcox, founder of B2Linked. Learn more at B2Linked.com. Thank you so much for being on the program today.
Hey, thanks so much, Jamie. Appreciate it.
And again, you've been listening to the all-new That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.